Hello, I'm Genevieve Pantin for Hera TV, and we have with us today the absolutely amazing and beautiful Mariana Todorova. Mariana is a futurist, a lecturer, a professor, a blockchain platform inventor, entrepreneur, women's activist, and researcher, two-time author, and having gotten to know her a bit better, she is even so much more. Thank you so much, Mariana, for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me on board today. It's my pleasure and great honor to be with you today.
Mariana, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Uh, I'm futurist. I'm author of two books. I have written two books recently. One is about counterfactual analysis and future studies. And this is a new way to forecast the upcoming event. I introduce counterfacts and counterfactuality in another perspective because usually counterfactual analysis starts with the question what would have happened if, and this assumes a possible alternative course of history, but I see this from another perspective. In contrast to fact and factuality, counterfactuality is a conditional statement which is artificially constructed. So, yet, once a hypothetical fact is perceived as real, we researchers can focus on its potential impact on existing reality, and we can use these counterfacts to construct a scenario for the future using the hidden potential of present and past. So this is my PhD work, and this is also my first book topic. My second book is about artificial intelligence, a brief history of development and ethical framework, because we need to understand better what is coming as a huge trend as inventing artificial intelligence. And of course, when people heard about AI, they quite often think some things that are unreal. There are a lot of myths around AI. And today we have artificial narrow intelligence, which process the information but could not think and doesn't have consciousness. But still, it's strong enough to replace people in so many jobs and could change the and disrupt the labor market, politics, economy, medicine. So we have to consider that. I'm also a former politician. I was member of parliament. Before that, I was advisor to the president of the republic. I was head of local office of European Parliament here in Bulgaria. And when I quitted politics, when I resigned from it, I decided to combine my vast political experience with my futuristic knowledge and decided to elaborate a blockchain based platform that introduces the so called liquid democracy. Liquid democracy is a mixture between direct and representative democracy because, as we all of us see, the representative democracy is already in crisis, and we could not continue with such kind of model. And I tried to invent uh, or revive already existing model of direct democracy with some current issues, and I introduced it via blockchain-based platform and make it for decision making and consensus building. And my biggest dream and my mission at that moment in life is to help some communities, some people that are partners of United Nations to conduct a global referendum that speaks on behalf of humanity. So we might probably use this platform to both to realize the model of liquid democracy and at the same time to make and conduct a digital global referendum.
It is so fascinating, Mariana. And when we say being able to conduct a global referendum using your futurist knowledge and expertise in a blockchain platform, can you share with me how would this filter down to the woman in society?
Uh, Blockchain technology has the benefit to be quite direct and transparent. And when we use it, we can make it like a game changer. For example, a person from my developers team is one of the software developers who help some small women community in East Asia to get their money directly for what they are doing because they're extremely poor and sometimes the people outside the small women community took their money. So he make a kind of blockchain based platform that explains what they're doing, putting the process on a smart contract principles, and everything of what they are doing is placed on smart contracts, and they get their money directly. They don't have mediators like local influential men and politicians. And this also protect this community from corruption. But we could apply blockchain technology even in government of a country, because if we make that possible, the state administration or some processes in healthcare system to be put on a blockchain system, we could avoid corruption, manipulation. Generally, basically, a lot of communities can benefit. And for example, always the women are underestimated in their jobs, and their salaries are like 20% lower if they took the same if they take the same position as men take. So if all companies put their documents on a blockchain platform, it would be quite visible that there are some inequalities, and this on such way we could make the information more transparent, and that could change the current situation and the current status quo. So blockchain technologies are quite good for changing a lot of processes, a way of governance, and I see high potential to improve not only women but the life of many other communities, professions, and how the states are functioning.
And so I see it that the way you visualize blockchain benefiting is that creating greater transparency, we're also creating greater accountability in the world as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, and that's absolutely fascinating, Mariana. And knowing as well that what you are working on is also having a way to eventually, with your futuristic views and futuristic process, to benefit not just marginalized communities but women as well. And that brings me to another question that I have for you, which is what what inspired you to be a futurist? Because understanding all the things that you do, be it lecturing, researching, your research work, your lecturing work, your professorship, your PhD, your books, they're all in the direction of you being a futurist. What has inspired you to be on this journey as a futurist?
Well, I have always been curious and open to know more about life principles, and how the people construct reality. Because I believed in constructivism and theories that explain the reality as constructed. I don't believe that we just live in a reality that is outside our consciousness and our mind. And actually, what is more important in futuristic work is not to predict the exact future, but to prepare some alternative scenarios for it. And when you suggest several alternative, even quite opposite scenarios, people could provoke themselves to think about different perspectives of the future and to get ready for it. And that's how some of the plans for the future uh, are realizing like themselves like self-fulfilling prophecies, and other like self-denying prophecies. If we want to prevent something not to happen in the future, we have to mobilize all the society energy to avoid this pathway. But if we want to colonize the future and to make strategies for colonizing the future, we could make backcasting. We could write or say where we want to get to, and then to make a backcasting um, describing all the steps we need to take to go directly there, to pursue and to achieve our goals. Uh, and the thing that and the thoughts that we could influence and impact the future really thrilled me, and that's why I became a futurist. um, and actually, another goal is to my goal is to raise the consciousness of people in different perspectives, and that's also include uh, gender equality and women rights, and how we can build an utopian world with new principles. So this has involved me in my work, and I'm very happy because I have the chance to change my perspectives from academia to politics to entrepreneurship. But I'm always guided by the uh, futuristic ideas.
Hmm. And so, interestingly, this is where I see how Hera connects so deeply with you, because thinking of preparing alternative scenarios and possibilities actually prepares us for all the different potentials and actually helps us. It's helped me even consider raising how I'm raising my consciousness and just having this conversation with you, Marianne. So, leading on to that, um, how did you find Hera? Because you sound like you're speaking Hera's language. How did you find them?
I was a panelist at the Horace's Extraordinary event, where I noticed Marianella's radiant aura. I contacted her immediately. We have a short conversation, and then she invited me as ambassador for Bulgaria and the Balkans. Uh, and I see here the invisible language of destiny. We participated in Horace's event, which is ancient Greek word for some virtue. The city and the initiative is called Hera, And my project, blockchain-based project for liquid democracy, I name it Agora. So the three of us, all of us want to revive some ideal ancient values. Marianella want to strengthen the femininity, and I want to recall the principles of direct democracy. And I found Hera and your community quite inspiring. And I think that this is because all of you are brilliant women with your own success and career. Actually, and what other impressed me was that I have lived in the world of ideas for too long, and I know that it is extremely beautiful and captivating, but this is insufficient. And I respect Marianella and all of you that are her team and her ambassador. I respect you because you have the energy and even the audacity to pursue your dreams. So it was my honor to be invited to join you, and I'm eager to contribute for your mission and goals.
Well, I can definitely say, Mariana, that it is an honor for Hera to have you, especially when I hear such empowering words from you. Because, like the mission of Hera as well, it's not just words; it's also action. Um, so, speaking of your beliefs and your principles, uh, can you share with me perhaps what is your vision for the Hera city?
Well, for me, Hero City could be a micro model of the world we want to live in the future. The world of well-being and prosperity. It could be a realized dream. It could be an example, a driving force for the direction of humanity, which we need to take now, because we have so many challenges uh, facing nowadays, like climate emergency, ecological catastrophes, a losing of control of technologies and AI. And we could, together with our common efforts, we could build this city as an utopian city and micro model for the world of future. We could engage all the current technologies, green energy, green technologies. We could also demonstrate how AI, artificial intelligence, could solve a lot of problems the humanity already have, like some medicine problem, or using this technology in genome editing, or finding new universes in the space. But at the same time, we could demonstrate that we have to put some frameworks and limits, because the most important thing is to stay human. And even if we enhance and improve ourselves, we shouldn't be too technical. We shouldn't change our um, uh, nature, because our nature is a result of centuries of evolvement and evolution, and we could not just make great changes using only technology. We should also develop our the notion of our soul and consciousness too. And I also respect very much the ideas about the Future Institute of Advanced Studies, because we could introduce another gender and another schedule, how we can develop not only the core skills, but also the soft skills, how we can develop further our cultural and emotional intelligence, what we need uh, to mobilize as our own personal energy to achieve our goals. And I respect all of these initiatives. And actually, I also respect the idea that both men and women are welcome there. And actually, we can show how the model of empowering women could help. And this is one of the strongest drivers of social evolution,
Mm.
because men also suffer from this inequality. And I believe that it's not easy to carry the burden and to live under the obligation that you are the stronger sex, and uh, you have no choice. So if we could demonstrate what will bring the balance between masculine and feminine energy, if we could show how the empowerment of women could be a game changer of the social model, if we could demonstrate how the technologies uh, could work and could help us to live in a better world, but not replacing us, we will achieve very high goals, and we uh, could build a small model of the future world that we dream of.
I mean, what an amazing proposal, Mariana. A proposal where it's in the interest of men and women to address the inequalities in not just society but in the world as well. And and I love the way you put it, that men don't necessarily have to live under the burden of being the stronger. And this is where we can really see the emergence of the value of emotional intelligence in not just the workplace, but in society and in the world, because this also is a strength that is historically undervalued. And in addressing this equality, this is certainly something that could be an enticing proposal for not just women, but also for men as well. You know, and it's fantastic that you are thinking intellectually about this as well. Again, as a futurist, I can see your futurist values coming through in what you've just shared. And just briefly, Mariana, can you share with me what actions do you think women can take to help other women around the world at the moment?
Uh, I believe we have to make another concept for female activism,
Mm.
and it should be a new planetary concept. I believe that we have to avoid the extreme views of neoconservatism and neoliberalism, because probably most of you have noticed that the new wave of neoconservatism arose, and the world is already polarized and divided in these two extreme ideologies. And if we follow one of these principles of neoconservatism or the extreme neoliberalism, that would be uh, not a good approach, because when we involve ideology in activism, we make a wrong decision. So I believe that we have take the planetary perspective, and to work for greener, happier society that uh, follows not the principles of growth and GDP, but for elaborating a new measurement of happiness and quality of life. And of course, I also like this new concept about social responsibility. We could also address the female politics responsibilities. And I advised my friends here in Bulgaria that are representing the Bulgarian Fund of Women to boycott or support businesses that are responsible for women rights. I advise them to volunteer organizing the different events for the benefit of women and girls. And I also believe that we should go from discourse transformation, how we speak about a certain topic, to a transformation of practice. That's why I like Hera and Hera City initiative so much, because here I see not only the philosophy, uh, not only the manifesto, but also concrete actions that are already taken. I also think that we should elaborate new philosophy of partnership with media, because we have to engage the social media and the traditional media channels on a new way. And what is also extremely important is to prevent the degradation of social and feminist activism to social and feminist marketing, because there is a clear business niche in this perspective, and sometimes people are disappointing seeing that this is just business as usual. And also, I believe that by digitizing different initiatives, using the achievements of technology, creating digital communities, and gathering together women from all over the world, that could be a new kind of think tanks and brainstorming to find common solutions for uh, this kind of initiatives.
Well, Mariana, thank you so much for being with us today on Hera TV. You have not only enlightened me, but I know you've enlightened all of the viewers. And this has been a truly empowering, um, eye opening, insightful interview. Thank you so much for spending that time with us today on Hera TV. And on behalf of Hera TV, thank you. And on behalf of Hera, thank you for being an ambassador.
Thank
Um,
you.
I look forward to speaking more very soon. Thank you, Mariana.
Thank
Thank you.
you. It's my honor and pleasure.